I legit love these shirts, but you sound like you're wearing a garbage bag when you walk in them. Anyway, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to NFA Review Channel. Sad face, this is our last in-stock YHM suppressor review. For now, I'm sure they're cooking up some more things under their sleeve. If they do release something new, it'd be pretty cool if they did it at Sbrs Fest in November. More on that, yeah. Had the rug pulled out from under us by Lake County with permitting issues on that Sunday. So Sunday, November 5th for Sbrs Fest has been canceled. Anybody who purchased tickets for that Sunday, you can automatically enter in on Saturday. We also released more tickets for sale on Saturday. And of course, if you can't make either day, we've been issuing refunds or credit if you want to use it for next year's event. All the fees, Eventbrite fees, $5.13 per ticket. I've been personally eating the cost on all those refunds. It was outside of my control, but I'm certainly not going to make you guys eat that. So anyway, lost a lot of sleep over it when it happened, and after a couple of nights I realized it's out of my control, and the one thing the fire department's taught me is to adapt and overcome, and that's exactly what I did. And Sbrs Fest will go on. It's just this year, like years in the past, it's going to be a one-day event, and then we'll go back to the two-day event format in 2024. So now we got that out of the way, let's dig deep into the Fat Cat. Okay, a lot of people have called it the cat's ass. More on that later, but we're gonna dive deep here in the studio, and of course we'll hit the range and see how it does. All right, unboxing it as usual. You have your suppressor complete with the adapter and a mount, a new mount we'll cover here. And deep in the confines of the box, we have some takedown tools. All right, for the sake of making life easy, I'm gonna give you these specs sans the mount. So, of course, this is gonna add a little bit extra length and weight. They have those specs on their website. You guys can check it out. But the suppressor itself comes in an overall length of 4.25 inches. A diameter, of course, at the widest part, because this is a tapered design, is 1.94 inches at the widest part. The weight, again, without any mount installed, is 10.6 ounces. And your materials is going to be all 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel, save for an Inconel blast baffle to help mitigate any erosion there with 556. Your finish, like the other rifle products we've reviewed from YHM, is a matte black high temperature Cerakote. The minimum barrel length restriction on this suppressor is 10-inch 556 platform. It is full auto rated. Again, like I say in all my reviews, use common sense. Don't just do 6 mag dumps back to back. Do a mag dump, let it cool, so on and so forth. Now the average decibel reading on a 556 platform, 141 decibels. Okay, that is above the OSHA safety threshold of 140 for hearing damage. So, and like most 556 suppressors, if you use this, I would still pair it up with hearing protection. We're gonna cover really what this is marketed for here in a second, but let me just get through the specs. Moving on, the MSRP is $659. And of course, if you guys are a gold member on my Patreon page, you can purchase this through Gun Trade or Den. You can also purchase it through Capital Armory. Both of them offer substantial discounts for my gold members on Patreon if you want to check that out. In fact, there's over 20 discounts from various companies if you guys have been living under a rock, but pretty cool way to shop. All right, so let's cover the special details here, what makes this suppressor unique, and then we'll hit the range. We'll try to get out of the studio as fast as possible, okay? So, first things first, you're gonna notice the rear mount area, okay? That is, of course, the standard 1.375 by 24 hub. Awesome there. You can use many manufacturers mounting interfaces here, and it does ship with their new SRX brake that I snuck a preview at SHOT Show earlier this year. If you guys watched the booth interview I did with them. So basically a really cool compact little mount. So they basically took all their other YHM mounts and just whoop, hacked them off, made them shorter. So it does ship with that, and of course the taper interface adapter ring for this mount. Okay, you have a taper surface here, here, not rocket science, large threads, it gets tight, it doesn't go anywhere. We're good to go there on the mount. Moving forward, they did state they redesigned the baffle geometry to reduce back pressure even more. Okay, so this should be less gas to the shooter's eyes, nose, and of course it won't overrun the weapon platform that you have it attached to. Elephant in the room besides the front cap would be the taper design on this. Now, this was designed to tuck this portion under a handguard on a platform, and I don't really have any of those here that it would work on. You know, this all extends past it. The only thing I have here that it would work on, had I had the correct upper, this is a 7.62 by 39 maximum defense. I also have a 300 blackout upper for it. Doesn't help us. If this was 5.56, I could take this blast deflector off, and that would, just by looking at it, eyeing it, it would fit in there just nice. And it would give it a nice, cool, meaty profile there. So that is what this taper was designed for. And the increase in diameter makes it have comparable volume with their Turbo K. Might even have more, I'm not sure. But the volume is going to be pretty close to the Turbo K, yet this is an entire inch shorter, which is pretty cool, and it does look neat. Now, I don't have the cat's ass controversial end cap here. That's still at Gun Trader Den Gun Shop. I just have this standard flash hider type without the cat butt engraving. But it is pretty cool. They have two different SKU numbers for those on their website. The 2200 is the normal, and the 2210 is the cat's ass. And again, going back to the redesign geometry of the baffles, they were also targeting a lower tone profile with the lower back pressure. So lower back pressure, low tone, 5.56 dedicated suppressor, at the threshold for hearing loss. So again, stack it up with some Ear Pro, and is adaptable to short Sbrs, has a 10-inch barrel restriction, so this would be great on like an 11.5 inch, which I do have, but it doesn't have a cool handguard setup. So, which leads me to what this is designed for. I would assume this would be great for law enforcement, like SWAT teams, stuff like that, or home defense at home for everybody who runs an Sbr at home. This would be just enough to take that edge off, that concussive blast, the muzzle flash. Of course, you do have a flash hider built in here. We know how bad 5.56 throws flames, especially in an indoor dark environment. So this would definitely be a contender for me if I had a cool little handguard setup. Again, you would also have to take one more thing into consideration, is the radiation of the heat coming up and then also conducting from the body of the suppressor to your aluminum handguards. I know there's some companies out there that sell, you know, almost like a suppressor corset cover, but for handguards, you'd have to run that, no doubt. But again, home defense, definitely take a look at it. Let's go see what it sounds like out on the range. We'll shoot some groups, make sure it doesn't ruin accuracy in any way. And I'm really curious to see what that tone sounds like. Let's get to it. Before we get shooting, a quick word from our sponsor, Capital Armory. They're the nation's largest silencer dealer and have expanded their silencer shipping ability to multiple states, with even more on the way. They can still ship directly to Texas residents, but they can now deliver silencers directly to your door for those in many other states. The process is simple and keeps everything in-house. So there are no additional dealers, transfer fees, or headaches. They manage the entire process from start to finish to make your life easier. The process is very simple. Once you purchase a silencer online through their website, you'll be contacted to begin your online customer profile to provide them with fingerprints and other necessary information to complete your e-file Form 4. After the ATF approves your form, Capital Armory will initiate electronic transfer paperwork with you, and your silencer will be mailed directly to your front door. And the best part is, your customer profile only needs to be done once, so you'll be ready to go for all future orders. Head to capitalarmory.com today to learn more. All right, from the top, suppression. As advertised, the tone was very low, very deep tone. When you're shooting it, it was weird. Mentally, I was preparing myself for a pretty large concussive blast considering how small this thing, I mean, it even looks like a blast deflector with the end closed in. That was not the case. It actually did very well, much better than I thought it would, very low tone. I did shoot some without ear protection. Now it is at that OSHA threshold of 140, so I was careful to not shoot too many rounds without ear protection, but I wanted to do it for myself really. One, to explain it to you guys, and two, just so I knew what it was like. It wasn't that bad at all. I mean, 5.56 is a really hard suppressor to evaluate with your ears. It's just loud. You have the subsonic crack of the round. It's very concussive. It's high pressure. There's a lot going on. This Geisley Super Duty that I have typically runs pretty gassy, and that was the case today as well, which is weird because it never malfunctions. Just a side note, with this rifle, great product. They didn't send it. I bought it one day, you know, drunk shopping on Gunbroker or whatnot, and I picked one up this probably over a year ago, and I've rarely cleaned it. I've cleaned it maybe once and never malfunctions. So says something for them. I don't know what gas port size it has, but it runs 100%. And looking at the other scenes with the ejected casings, it doesn't seem to overrun the gun either. I don't know what it is with this thing, but it'll run suppressed or unsuppressed. That being said, it does typically, I do get gas in the face pretty much all day with this thing, regardless of what I'm shooting it on. And I got that today as well. Now, I noticed when I was shooting, I put the camera behind me. I did a lot more scenes today, in case you haven't noticed, because I only had one host. So I'm like, I'm gonna give my audience a little bit more options here. I put the tripod up on my truck bed to get like an overhead view. And during that scene, I got zero gas to the face. So I don't know if this is very sensitive to the wind shifting or not, if it's just like a plume of gas that the wind was pushing in my nose, or if it was high pressure from the gun shooting. But I didn't get it when I shot those scenes. Like, I made a mental note that I was completely fine. My eyes weren't burning. So I thought that was really awkward, really weird. Anyway, point of impact shift, none. I shot some groups off camera, shot 5 rounds unsuppressed, 5 rounds suppressed from 50 yards, supported with my camera bag. Actually did pretty well. It's like one of those rigid ones. And shot fine with the ACOG groups. I'll show you here, little B-roll overlay. You could see where the second grouping went. Not much to discuss there. I also digged around off camera with the new Blue Alpha Gear duty belt. So this is their new like low weight one. It's very minimalist, and I bought some high speed gear pouches, little taco pouches for it. And this is the Springfield Armory Echelon that came with that Safariland holster, so it actually works quite well. I still need to pick up a medical kit and a dump pouch for it, but I just wanted to toy around with it today. The nice thing about that, while we're discussing it, is they have these Velcro rubber panels you can put on the Velcro on the inside of the belt. It ships with a Velcro belt, right? So it's a belt-on belt setup like every other belt out there. But if this is just bouncing around in like a box in your trunk of your car or your truck, and you have it with you at all times in case shit hits the fan, with these rubber panels, you don't need that accessory Velcro belt underneath, because you probably won't have it on in your day-to-day activities out shopping with your wife and stuff. This, it sticks to your clothes just enough, as you saw. I'll show you a little B-roll of me screwing around with it. It wasn't moving at all. So I thought that was pretty slick setup, and it's really thin and lightweight. So I'll definitely be training with that more just for my own sake. So back to the suppressor, no point of impact shift, back pressure, did get gas in the face. Again, we discussed that, and the tone was great. Did not loosen under fire. With the taper surfaces. Actually, in one scene, I didn't show it, but I had to use the wrench to get it off. It wasn't like on. The can was so hot, I really didn't want to touch it too. And I just put the wrench and the machining on the suppressor and just gave it a little click, and it came unbound from the taper surfaces, came right off. So that's good to know. Always go to the range with your wrenches. So I think that covers it here. Yeah, this is the last YHM product I have in stock right now. They're always developing. In case you haven't noticed, they're like a cell phone company, like boom, 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 like always putting out cans. So really cool, really innovative company at price points that none of us can complain about, which is cool. So again, if you want better pricing on these than the retail price, check out the Gun Trader Den on my Patreon, and of course Capital Armory. They will both give you great prices on any suppressor product for that matter. So again, take heed when I said at the beginning of the video, with Suppress Fest Saturday, I unlocked some more tickets. So if you were disappointed that when it sold out last week, never fear, I added some more tickets to it. So go ahead and pick some up, and I will see you Saturday, November 4th. I'll see you next time.